All right, I'll start off. Excited about this week. Got to put a good week of preparation in. Denver's a hell of a football team. Looking forward to the challenge, playing at home again in front of our home crowd. We'll be wearing our white uniforms this week. We'll have a white out, so encourage the fans to wear all white, show up. Obviously, it goes a long way. Their energy in that stadium is huge for us going into this game.
Shane, as you said the other day, I mean, you put a lot on tape throwing the ball and you were aggressive throwing the ball. I don't know what anybody expected, but they may have loaded up to stop JT. I imagine to some degree. Do you expect that there will be maybe a different approach because you did throw it so aggressively?
We'll see early. You know how they want to play us, but we'll go into the game with our game plan and see how it goes. And if we need to adjust, we'll adjust.
Will Mooney practice?
He will not. He'll be in the protocol, and we'll see how the week goes.
Will Jalen Jones be sidelined for a while?
Yeah, he's going to be out for a while. I don't have a timetable on it, but he'll be out for a while.
Is IR a possibility?
We'll see. We're working through it.
So how do you feel about your corner depth right now?
Good. I mean, we got guys in there that we feel confident in. Whoever's on that field, we got faith in, and they got to be ready to go. If he's not able to go, we got to have those other guys step up.
Coach, along those same lines, just what's the process of getting someone like Mekhi Blackman up to speed? He's only been here a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, I thought he did a great job coming in. He put in the time, put in the work. He was always in with the DB coaches, Jerome Henderson. He spent a lot of time with them. I walked past his office when we signed him. He was in there all day, every day, learning the system. So credit to him, credit to Jerome and Chris getting him up to speed as fast as possible.
What makes Denver's defense so good?
It's a great question. I think they do a lot of good things. I think it starts up front. I think 15's a hell of a player. Obviously, he just got paid a lot of money for a good reason. I think Allen's a good player. Number 2, Surtain. He's one of the best in the business. They're aggressive. They like to play in your face and match and rush and cover. So I think Vance Joseph does a heck of a job with the scheme. Had a chance to go against him for many years. So a lot of respect there for those guys and the way they play and how hard they play.
What are your impressions of Bo Nix and this offense?
I think he's done a nice job. He stepped in, made some really good plays. Obviously, he can create with his legs and his arm. He makes great scramble plays with his legs, but he also throws a good ball too. So I think he does a good job. I think Sean Payton does a good job with him. With the offense, within the offense, of keeping him on schedule.
Who's responsible for blitz preparation for you guys?
Tony leads that with the rest of the offensive staff, but Tony does a phenomenal job with that stuff. I remember, you've heard me say this story, but when I hired him 2 years ago, we went through blitz protections for about 2.5 hours, and I showed looks from 2012, just random looks. Let's see if he can figure this one out, and he nailed every single one of them. So his preparation, the way he sees the game, putting those guys up front in position to go, be in great pass protection situations are huge, and that's so much preparation that goes into it. You might get unscouted looks that you got to be ready for. Trust your rules and go from there. But he does a hell of a job with the rest of the staff and the offensive line.
And then in the pre-snap, when they're lining up to a blitz, is that Tanner and Daniel together, basically?
Yeah, everyone's got to be on the same page there. Everyone up front, you know what I mean? It's all 5 of those guys up front. It's the quarterback, it's the tailback, it's the communication piece of it, which is huge. So we got to be on our P's and Q's every single week.
What questions, if at all, did you have about the offensive line going in? I mean, you were saying last week you thought that's where the game would be a won or loss to some degree. Not about talent, but like the first time that group being together.
Well, I think just first and foremost, I think the preparation that those guys, I think Matt transitioning inside and Tanner being the full-time guy now, just getting those reps back in spring and going into training camp, felt good about the communication. As long as we're all on the same page, that group's really good up front. It starts with Quentin. He's our leader up there. He brings that energy. He brings that juice. He brings that physicality all day, every day. So very pleased, week 1. But, again, we got to go do it each and every week.
A lot of teams can say that they have a versatile offense with a lot of playmakers, but how important is it to have unselfish playmakers within that, like the Colts?
I think that's huge. That's a team-first mentality. That's this business. Especially with the skill positions. I always tell those guys, man, we got one football and we got about 5 or 6 dudes that can go get it. And I thought, last week, obviously we're moving on this week, but I thought Daniel did a good job distributing the ball. And I think all those guys were involved. Obviously, we'll have plays up for all those guys every week, and some week it might be one guy that catches 12, and the next week he might catch 2. It's just how it plays out sometimes, and that's why you got to be selfless at that position for sure.
Shane, what makes a good
had a
cadence?
situation last week where everything was working for you, such a great game, week one. How do you balance, appreciate what happened week one, but knowing there's still a lot of football left?
I think it comes down to discipline each and every week. You got to be ready to roll. It's a new challenge every week in this league. Our details got to be on it, our communication, our process that we go through every week. Like I said, it's a new week every week. So what we did last week, it doesn't matter anymore. So we got to move on and be ready to roll for Denver.
What stands out to you about the way Tyler Warren kind of sees football and how he learns? Because obviously, the way you use them, I'd imagine you trust him with the line.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, some of these guys, some of the things you can't coach with some of these guys is feel. And I think he's got a great feel for the game. He understands football. Like I said, he sees it really well. I think Tommy does a great job getting him prepared every week in the tight end room with the rest of those guys. And I think the preparation that he puts in, the toughness that he plays with, it's phenomenal. So we got to keep it going.
Shane, what makes a good cadence?
Well, I would love to tell you that, but
Just
I don't
in
know.
general, not
yeah. I mean, I think you got to be good in all cadences. Yeah, you got a whole bunch of them.
I can't wait to read this story.
I mean, I would love to do something for you, but then I'm just no thanks.
Obviously, a ton was at stake last year when you guys faced them. What are your memories about last year's game?
My memories are last year. It's a new year, new football team. We're a new football team. They're a new football team, and we got to be ready to go.
Do you want guys to use that as motivation?
I'm sure some of those guys are, but I'm not harping on last year. This year's a new year.
To that point, is there any lessons or anything you learned from then? I mean, you're obviously not going to detail anything moving forward, but anything you took away from that, where we got to do this thing.
Got to finish the game. That's it. We got to finish games.
Coach, what challenges do you see Denver's receivers kind of put on your secondary, especially with just the varied skill sets they have between someone like a Sutton and
Yeah, Mims, Sutton, Franklin. Sutton's a big-time player. He's been a good player in this league for a long time. Mims can fly. Franklin can fly. So we got to be great on the back end with those guys. We know the matchups. So those guys on the back end got to be on their P's and Q's because they're really good players.